please.
It's going to be Nick, if that's okay, Luke, but he'll start now.
Yes, tell me that beforehand then. You've changed format for the last 2 weeks, so tell me that beforehand, please.
No problem. Okay.
Wayne, to start with then, why was it Byron who went from the coaching team, and how hard a decision was it?
Oh, look, it was a very hard decision because of obviously the history between the two of us. We've known each other 6.5 years now, working together for that period of time. So yeah, it was a difficult decision. A difficult conversation. But we reviewed the Six Nations as you would expect. And when Byron and I sat down, it was a very healthy and honest conversation. We just felt that now was the time to make a change. Obviously, with the start of a new season, if you like, 2020-21 season, going into this new autumn series cup or autumn cup series, that the time was right for us to make that change.
So will it be Gethin Jenkins who leads the defence from now on?
Yeah, so we've got basically 12 training sessions to get through, 4 games of rugby. So we will manage from within the group. Gethin will step up and take some more responsibility with the defence. But a very experienced person in Mark Kennard, who's worked obviously along with Sean for a number of years in that department as a head analyst for the defence. So it'll be a collection of thoughts going into that process.
Who actually made the decision? Was there any player input into it?
It was a decision that was taken by Byron and myself, as I say, and as we've said. We looked at what is best going forward to the World Cup in 2023, and we felt that we weren't getting what we wanted from our defence, and so the change has been made.
Why do you think the transition from the Sean Edwards era has proved so problematic in that area of the game?
Look, we've had a big focus, and probably if you look at the games we've had there in 2 parts, really. There's the pre-COVID and post-COVID. Pre-COVID, obviously a lot of work going into the attack side of the game, and as we've stated from day one, that is going to put pressure on the defence because we're playing more and deeper into the field. Closer to our own half, if you like, and inside our own half. So turnovers are going to put pressure on you. Clearly that has happened. We haven't been as good as we would like in attack as well. So that has put pressure on our defence, and as a result, it has been more difficult.
Are you definitely looking to recruit a new person in that area, or might you end up, for the Six Nations, sharing it between the coaches that you do have?
I will certainly be looking and seeing what is out there, what's available, the sorts of people that may be interested. Obviously, with this sort of thing, a few names have come across the desk already. So that's something that we'll be looking at the end of this competition.
On the injury front, you had an entire back row missing last time out in Tiprick, Navidi and Moriarty. Any of those available this time round?
Justin Tiprick is back training fully. Ross Moriarty, has been back training. And Navs is trained this morning, and we'll have another run this afternoon. But it might be a bit of a 50-50 for him.
And a few other injury bumps. Obviously, Samson Lee missed the last match.
Yeah, no, he's trained very well. He's ticked all the boxes, so he's looking good.
And Dan Bigger and Louis Riz-Zammit?
Yeah, both training fully, so both available.
Thank you, Wayne.
No problem.
Hi, Wayne, Beth from ITV. I'm just, obviously you've been together as a coaching unit for quite a while. Just emotionally for you, how hard has this been? Because, it can't have been a nice process. No, but
the thing is, it's the people that you're dealing with, and in the case of Byron, he's, as I say, we've known each other 6.5 years, worked together closely. He's a friend away from the game, so it's a tough conversation, but one where we both respect each other's views, and it was a mutual agreement that this is basically what we're doing is putting the team first.
Was it him that kind of suggested it? I'm suggesting it's kind of a loose term, but in terms of who brought it up, because equally, it's only not even really a year since you took over the reins with him, and you had a 2-year break clause in your contract. So was there not a thought of just carrying this on and see how it went?
Well, it was a discussion we had in a review process. So from my point of view, it was I've raised it with Byron. We've had a good chat around it. a lot of things. There's the technical, tactical side of things. There's how we feel as people in our roles. So, look, it was a very mature discussion, and that's the result that we came up with.
Looking forward now, you said kind of the Six Nations, that was going to be a clean break. Are you excited, nervous? What's your feeling about the upcoming weeks?
Oh, look, we're very excited. Obviously, disappointed with how we've come out of COVID, because I think if you look at pre-COVID, I think we were 3 tries all with England, 3 tries all with France, a game that we could have and should have won. So I don't think going into the break we were too far off where we wanted to be with the changes that we were making. Clearly, we're very disappointed with how we've come out of COVID. And if we look at the Welsh clubs and we look at some of the players, where some are in very good shape, some aren't where they need to be. So there's a lot of work being done to get everyone up to speed as quickly as possible. But certainly disappointed with the Scottish game. It's something that we need to rectify. We've talked about it as a squad, and I think just seeing the trainings in the last day or two, yesterday and this morning, and then we're looking forward to a training this afternoon. So the guys are in pretty good spirits, and that they get to put that behind them now and have the opportunity to go out and put their best foot forward, I guess.
Last question from me. I spoke to Steve Phillips last week. He said he's always in conversation with you and that you have a plan. How is that plan going in your view? Obviously, this is a long-term project, looking to the World Cup. Where are you on that kind of trajectory?
Yeah, well, clearly, as I've said, going into lockdown, we weren't too far off, with all the changes in terms of the attack. I think we were playing some decent rugby against particular France and England in patches in those games, and they're 2 quality sides. So, look, we're not too far off, 1-score games. So, it's the disappointment of coming out of COVID, which is the thing that we're addressing at the moment. But certainly we'll look to make sure that we have improved performances over this series. And then, of course, the acid test will be on in terms of the Six Nations, because we have to be on our games, as simple as that.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hi, Wayne. Simon here. How are you?
Good, thank you, Simon.
Can I just ask you directly to give the opportunity to answer it? Did any of the players at all have any issues with Byron or his methods? And were any complaints raised on that front with you or with the WRU?
I'm continually talking to players on a daily basis as what we do in terms of the attack, the defence, the whole lot. So, we're constantly talking and reviewing training sessions, classroom sessions. All those things are being done on a daily basis, and it would be done regardless of which coach we're talking about. The decision in relation to Byron was one that he and I sat down and discussed, and it was a decision that I took.
So it was ultimately your decision, not a Welsh Rugby Union decision taken above your head?
No, it was my decision, and I informed the necessary people at the appropriate time.
Just lastly from me, I mean, looking from outside, it's only a year in, one of your coaches has gone. Can you understand, especially with the losing run, people may look at it and say, this looks like a little bit of a mess? Oh,
certainly. But what really counts from our point of view is making sure that we stay focused on what we're doing on a daily basis. And it's really the feeling for me when I'm talking to the senior players and talking to the other coaches on where we think we're at with our game. And as I've mentioned, we were pretty happy, even though we'd lost to England and France, that the changes we were making, which does take a bit of time, that we were heading in the right direction. It's certainly very disappointing coming out of COVID with the 2 games that we've had. So it's really 2 parts to it. So what we need to do is make sure that we get back to where we were and play a bit more rugby, back ourselves. And I think we just went into our shells a little bit in that Scotland game.
Thank you, Wayne.
Thank you.
Wayne, Simon's covered most of it there, but what would you say to those Welsh fans who think the decision to remove Byron was a bit of a panic move?
Well, look, from our point of view, it's looking at it and saying, what do we want to be doing in 2023? That's the big goal. And at this stage, we'd made a decision that we weren't heading in the right direction with the defence. So we've made the decision to make the change now rather than wait longer.
Has he been made a scapegoat at all?
No, look, it was a discussion between the 2 of us, and we agreed that that was the right thing to do for the team. Everything we do with this team, and it's one of the things which we talk about on a regular basis, and we ask the players to do, is always put the team first, and it's certainly what we've done, because at the end of the day, we're just custodians in our roles, and the union will be here for a long, long time, and we've got to do what we think is best at the time. And this is a very, very hard decision, tough decision to make, but we've made it and I'll stand by it.